per week. We invite our members into our Zoom and they can ask Bubble questions, comment, and give us comments, concerns, so on and so forth. And we like to say that we will suffer along with you. We can't promise answers, but we'll try our hardest to get it for you. So, Ben, of course, if you have questions, go ahead and ask them. But you, right before this, wanted to share your screen and show me how you were turning your app into dark mode.
Yeah, so I basically have set it up so that it is dark mode.
Nice. Okay.
And then I'll switch it around so that it's non-dark mode as an option, basically because I want people to spend hours at a time inside it. And having that option on an app where you're not just like entering a bit of data and then going somewhere else, like I think it's a good idea.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of what I was working on.
I like that a lot. It is honestly really easy to look at.
Yeah.
I typically like lighter background sites. I like the white and like clean, almost sterile approach. But
yeah,
I think that you did a real excellent job turning this from light to dark. I really do.
I think it looks interesting. You don't see many bubble apps doing dark mode. They mainly stick to the whites and EB, F7, F7, F7.
Yeah. White smoke occasionally. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's kind of
Real
where I'm at.
nice.
Yeah, thank
You
you. And
got bored
then,
over the weekend and you said, why not?
yeah, exactly. And then I finished the index page as well.
Oh, that looks real clean. I like that.
So very much a EB background. Yeah, there you go.
I do like this. Nice. Wow, super, super cool. Looks really polished.
Yeah, so pretty stoked with it.
So
This
April
point.
2022, it's coming up. What else?
It
Do you have any problems that you're running into that you need help with?
One that I am running into is I have a. Have you worked with the Airtable plugin at all?
No, but we can try together.
Okay, so Tonya helped me set it up, which was awesome. And what it does is brings in. So I've got this online profile. So whenever a new profile gets uploaded, it comes into here from Bubble. And then I've got a Zappy integration with a thing called Feedly, which brings in news. And this is where all the news articles come, and I can edit them before I click. Where's status? There should be a status here. Here. To upload. Once it hits to upload, it then uploads to Bubble.
Okay.
But the issue that I'm running into with it is that they all get stretched. All the icons get stretched. All
I
the
see.
images.
And all of these images are being sent from Airtable to Bubble.
Yeah, correct.
And the images as they are, I imagine they're not stretched. So could I take a look at the date? Yeah, yeah. So that's how it sends.
Yeah.
Okay. And so you were pulling up, it looked like that plugin information inside the plugin. Where would it be inside the plugin where we're uploading the image? So I guess brand profile, does this happen for more than one or for?
All of them. Anything I import from Airtable as an image.
Oh, okay.
And it's all done via these backend workflows.
Okay. And when we're assigning an image to a field, are we modifying that with ImageX by any chance?
Yes.
Okay. And I imagine we're selecting all the right options towards like stretch or whatever it may be. Do you mind showing me what that looks like?
Yeah, of course. Let's do the dashboard because that's an easy one. And then any of them. It's mainly these ones.
It is right. Resize the dimensions by cropping, quality. Yeah, I feel like you and I briefly went over this before, maybe not Airtable specific, but it was about images. And if it wasn't you, I do remember doing something very similar to this.
Mhm.
And what we ended up doing was looking inside the CSS, and if I recall correctly, looking inside the CSS and seeing if we could modify those images themselves. Now, I do have access to your app, so I'm going to pull it open if that's right with you.
Yeah, please.
All right, let me go ahead and share my screen here. So you're going to have to help me navigate to where we just were.
That's the old one. So that one just does not work anymore. There's
Index
a
update, or
no. That's the old app.
oh, you're saying this is the old app. Okay. Let's see. So it's not this one.
No, it's called. I think Tonya called it version 17. There you go.
Gotcha. Okay. Okay, so what I'm looking for here, I guess, actually is a repeating group where
It's a
this
reusable, and it's called Dashboard Home.
it appears here. Okay, now where does this appear though on a page? Which page would I go to for this?
Application.
Okay, sweet. And so I should be able to run this as a user.
Yep. Any user.
Did any user? Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
Just click. If you click the logo, that's probably the quickest way.
Gotcha. Cool. Okay, sweet. So down here,
Yeah.
is what we're seeing. Now, of course, if we can fix this natively inside Bubble, we want to, but in the meantime, we are going to poke around and see what we can find.
I thought it could have been because the original images were rectangles, but I don't know.
Well, we do have it where it crops, correct? Inside your,
Yeah.
this was in dashboard home. Oh. So I'm looking for the repeating group brands. This is where it is. Okay. Image processed. Resize to fit dimensions by cropping. Okay. And then we saying that this is a 50 pixel set width with an aspect ratio of 1:1. So height by that is 50. So it's 50 by 50. We have padding, or we have margins, nothing that we should really be concerned about. It's just pushing some of those elements over so we can have it more isolated. Okay. I do see that. Now, actually, I am curious though. You've probably deselected this, correct?
No.
If not, let's see what this does. Is there any noticeable difference?
No.
No, not really, huh? So I wonder if let's just do this for testing and see. So we should have the sepia tone applied to these. Just want to make sure that it is processing these images.
Yeah.
Does it look like it is? Yeah.
How much sepia did we put on it? Doesn't look like much.
Yeah, we'll put it over 100 here. So you should be able to tell this green should look a lot less green. Everything else. So it looks like this image has been modified.
Yeah.
So we have one image in our repeating group that this is actually applying to. Because this is applying to the parent group's news article, news image, parent group, current cells, news article. Searching for news articles here, where it is brand news. Okay. we're taking now the current cells article, right? And that makes sense. So parent groups news article. So it should be, we're referencing the cell. So cool, not a problem there. We're saying processed with this. So why is it applying to only one? See if we can. So you can even see in the data that's being passed, fit equals crop and CPO is 100. But it only applies to that image. I'm just looking at sort of where these images are stored to see exactly what's going on. This one's stored on Amazon. So it looks like we have some different places where these images are stored. And I'm not super certain, but if I had to guess, that's probably one of the reasons why we're able to actually append this data at the end of the URL versus perhaps maybe another URL that we're dealing with. But at the same time, don't know if that makes sense if we're actually telling the application to process this with this ImageX. Now, I do just, so you should have this photo somewhere. Well, this photo somewhere. This is stored with Amazon. Looks like it's from Bubble itself. Is this photo by any chance stored on Bubble itself, or are we
They
positive?
all are.
Okay, so all of these images are stored on Bubble.
Yeah. So if you go to the app data and then news articles, up the top, I just created a new one, so you should be able to see it. No, it's not there. All news articles.
What is it? I'm sorry.
All news articles are down 3. Yeah.
All news articles. Okay. Okay, so we're taking this data from Airtable and then we're sending it to Bubble. You use Airtable really as just sort of like a content moderation kind of platform. Is that right?
Yeah, and creator. Yeah. Just because
Okay.
Bubble's so hard to do that in.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. So I wonder, we're just going to modify some things here. I'm going to see if when we do that, it applies to all these images. So it looks like that does. Or we can actually select that and stretch it and blah, 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 and it applies, but only sepia applies to one image. So one of the things that I want to try, we'll copy this and we will do a search for. So I'm thinking that we can search for this news article's image instead of saying parent group, where the constraint would be, I guess, this news source.
News source is just the website it's from. It's not actually a unique identifier.
What's the best unique ID? I guess just unique ID, huh?
Yeah, definitely.
So we're going to be sort of doing some weird reference here. We're searching for the news article, but we're referencing the cell. So it's going to be a little weird.
Yeah.
First item, and then we're looking for the image.
Yeah.
And then we're doing this. And we're saying yes. Stretch. Okay, this would be really weird if it would work, but I just wanted to try
that
to.
would be so weird.
Because we're accomplishing the same thing. Yeah.
The same thing. Yeah.
Looks like, yeah, so. Well, I guess we could just do this here. So we're taking a look back at this image and we're gonna look at what's appended. So it's appended here. Oh man, that is such a strange thing for Bubble to be throwing this way. I wonder though, if we take this let's say fit. So and fit. We go to this one. It breaks it. Oops. So we added the question mark because that's the first character, I suppose, that you would add to append something to a URL, changing URL parameters. Any secondary parameter you add would be set with an ampersand sign. So we restored the process, or we restored the image from where it was just previously broken right here. But we can see that this has no effect. So ImageX doesn't have any effect on these images. So I'm going to do a quick Google search. Let's see if this is a thing that people have dealt with before. Okay. See what people are saying. People are like, yep. They do have a status page. Is that something? No, it's a bubble status page. Wait, what a second. It says that it's operational, so shouldn't be running into any problems there. Huh. Okay, so what at least we've been able to identify that it applies to one image. So we know that in some sense it is working.
And that image is probably one that I just uploaded to Bubble without using Airtable.
Okay, we can test that. We can go to pedestrian TV style, perhaps. You've got this and manually change the photo.
Manually change the photo.
Yeah, yep. Manually change the photo if you don't mind doing that for me.
Yep, one sec.
I do like the charts though. I know that we had previously spoken about using like separate UI elements and as well as charts, but I think the chart, especially on the dark mode, looks really, really good.
There will be UI elements will be coming into that as well. It's just
cool.
Another step, you know.
Oh boy, I do. Yep. No, but I do like it though. I think the colors contrast really well.
Which one did you want me to edit? Sorry, what was it called?
You've got mere hours left to score up to 40% off. It's by Style Pedestrian TV, or it is Style in Pedestrian TV. I think of why that would, the way we go about fixing that. Which I suppose if we identify this issue as an Airtable versus a manual upload issue, we could, I guess when data is imported, you could re-upload that image through Bubble itself. Instead of
there is a plugin that does that, isn't there? Or a way to do that?
Yeah, you'd do that with like a trigger. So when something is triggered, it takes whatever just happened and then it changes that object. In this case, we'd be referencing the image. We'd be taking the image and saying, re-upload it, I guess. Sort of the top of my head, that's the way that I'm seeing it, but I'm sorry. Let me go ahead and refresh this. Just double checking you did re-upload that file?
I'm doing it now, sorry, it's running a bit slow.
Oh, no worries. I just had the bar up top.
Okay, should be done.
Okay, yep. So it does look like that's probably the way you want it.
Yep, that's correct.
Okay. So it definitely seems to be an issue, yes, with the way the Airtable is sending in this image. So I'm going to go to your plugin. And this is the one that Tanya set up for you, correct?
Yeah, so that's just the simple giving you access to that Airtable, and then it all runs in the backend workflow.
Okay, so it's the backend workflow. And brands, if I had to guess.
No, it's actually news, I think it's called.
Ooh, yes.
I
Newsletter.
haven't set it up. I haven't reset it up. I was playing with it. Sorry.
Okay, no worries.
I'll have to do that before we can do it.
Well, there is also other images, other repeating groups where this happens, correct? Or is it mainly just here?
It's mainly just the news ones, it seems.
Where else would I find a repeating group with things like this?
If you click any of the top ones, they're different repeating groups. So on the dashboard where you are, up the top, yeah. If you go to talent, it'll be this. So they're different repeating groups, but they're same sort of data. Oh, there you go. Events does it as well.
So events, yeah, okay. Let's see. Here's events. We're just saying the event profile image. We do with this image. So we save it that.
It's saved to S3, isn't that how you do it? I think.
Well, when we save it to S3, we do need to give it a new file name. So let's reference. So I copied here. I copied simply just the data that was here, and I'm pasting it back inside. Oopsie daisy. Pasting it back inside, removing the S3. And then this profile image, do I have the option of file name? Okay. It should just be one image, correct?
Correct. It's always just one image, yeah.
Okay. So what we've modified here is we're basically saying that we want to save it to the S3 database, or to the servers rather. So not much has changed apart from now that we're actually telling Bubble, like, hey, listen, we want it to be saved here. So if you want to go ahead and try going through that upload phase, or however we would trigger this to add something, just to see if that would change anything.
Okay.
Don't know how complicated that would be for you, but
that's fine. The problem is it only runs that sequence once every hour, so I don't know when it's going to be.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you might have to just come back to this one.
Okay, totally. Yeah, not a problem. I'm wondering though if saving it to an S3 is going to be telling it to override something, like in a good way. Just trying to think. Given that we have the option of saved S3, or take the URL, because if we could take the URL, I'm thinking that in theory, then you could reference each image using that URL. As it would be an external, or I guess in this case, an internal link. That is one of the ways also I would consider doing it, but then I'm not sure if we do that, what your ImageX capabilities would be.
Limited. I've tried that.
Okay. Darn. And then, yeah, the last step, because, we want to keep it all sort of native inside Bubble. The last step would be look inside the CSS and see if we can modify that background image, or in whichever way it's loaded, see if we can modify it through sort of that code there. But I definitely want to know what the outcome is for when we save this to an S3.
Yeah.
Let me know. Keep me updated on that.
Yeah, I will. Yeah.
Yeah, what an interesting little thing here where it works when you manually do it, but it doesn't if you want it to be automated. Huh.
Yeah, it's so weird, right?
Yeah, pretty strange. But yeah, there are ways to solve it, definitely. Like, from what I'm gathering here, since it is manually fixed, you could automate the removal and then the re-upload of that image through Bubble. And I'm wondering if that might be a solution. Just to sort of like let Bubble know, like, hey, by the way, yes, this is your image on your database we just did. Then it might see it sort of as that. But okay, interesting.
And would you just do that with a backend workflow?
Yeah, that would be a backend workflow. And you could set it up to where it runs every single time that new data is just detected, like a record's changed or records added or something of the sort. And then, from that, you would just reference that particular item and then take its property. So it's image property. You would then delete it. And then you would just tell it basically to add it again. You would one of the things that you may want to do is pass in the image in two separate records. So maybe we'd be referencing an image as it's initially stored. And then when we're making that change, we would add it to a new image record.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
I'm I'm thinking just breaking up the way that it's already done as many ways as possible. Because we've already identified that Bubble at least is able to take care of it. Native to Bubble, that is, but with Airtable integration, it seems to be a little wonky. So if we can convince Bubble that it's doing it in whichever way possible, in this case, using two records, makes sense to me. Yeah, what a weird thing. Let me know, though. Definitely let me know. Any other issues, any crazy other wacky issues you can bring to me?
No, that's all I've got at the moment. Yeah, no, that's the main one. I'll definitely have more next week.
Yeah, sweet.
As
I'm
I
all
keep
about it.
plowing through and trying to get ready for that April date.
Yeah, I love everything about this. This is super cool.
Thank you.
A lot of it Australia. So is this Aussie based then?
It is at the moment, yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah, but it'll be shifting pretty quickly.
Yeah, everything's cool about it. Heck yeah.
Awesome. What about you? What's been happening? What's found anything cool and new tricks?
Any new tricks? It's a very old trick that Tanya showed me just yesterday, using arbitrary text, or not arbitrary text, but rather formatted as text. So I can pull open the February Sandbox. Oh, it's already open. So I can't remember exactly where she did it, but I'll just create a new page. And I just realized it's March. It's no longer February, and we're on the February Sandbox. The page name, let's just say testing 222. So if we take a text element, we do a search for users, format as text, or we could say this user's first, last. This user's first, and we'll just do then this user's last. And so when we do this, it should take all of the users that we currently have. So if I go to data and then I go to app data and scroll all the way down to users, we have 4 users. Let's see. I want to make these have the first and last. So first admin. Okay, cool. Cameron. Yep. I'm just quickly copying and pasting these so it makes it complete. Okay, cool. So with Sam Morgan as well, and last but not least, we do have some email. Okay, cool. So again, we're just searching for users and we're formatting as text. This user's first, last, this user's first, this user's last. And when we preview, it should get a broken down list of all of these users very simply, just like that. And so using, what is this? 3 separate, I guess, user references, and then one line, one would you say, operation here, format as text, we're able to pull in all of that data. So it's really good for report compiling.
Cool.
Yeah, and especially if you have dynamic users. So in the event that sometimes you'll have 3 users, or sometimes you'll have 5 users, or however it may be, you don't need to modify really anything other than this data in here with what you're trying to find. You can go ahead and just format as text, and all of that data then from every single user is then formatted as text. So ran into that last night, thought that was super, super cool.
Sweet. What's
Yeah,
your use case for it?
so we had some people that were dealing with sending a sales report to a manager on a weekly basis. And so at the very moment, what they had, or at that moment, what they had was an email with all of the same data, just copied and pasted for the amount of users that were currently there. So they had 4 users. So manually, they created 4 separate, would you say, users, I guess, in the email with all of their then corresponding stats, which is a lot of time, obviously. And then especially if you're going to be removing users or adding users, it's just even more manual time. And the goal is to get the email to be automated on a weekly basis. So if they need to pass in all this individual's information, they're able to do so with format as text without having to search for each individual. Each individual is right here. And then beyond that, you do have the option to constrain the user search. So if you wanted to search for only sales users, you could, mark it down where we're looking for, where sale equals yes, or whatever it may be. But in this case, where role is admin. So now we're going to be looking at users with the admin role, and we're going to be able to get their first, last, first, and then last. And to avoid some confusion, we could just do email.
Oh,
Yeah, so now we have 2 users that are actually admin in this application.
and could you use that in a repeating group as well?
Let's go ahead and find out. So we'll go ahead and shrink this for now. Get a repeating group. Type of user, or type of kind of user, we'll do a search for users. So in a repeating group, we're looking for text. It sort of already accomplishes the same thing that we're looking for.
Yeah, it does.
But if we do current sales users, oh, that won't work, will it? Because we have to do a search for something to be able to format as a text. But I am curious what happens. So on the left side, we're searching for users, admins, and then we're just searching for all the users. Okay, and honestly, that's sort of what I expected to happen inside a repeating group, being that what we're sort of doing is already passing in a list of items, and this is just repeating those list of items. So it's definitely really powerful when you're going to be using it in an email, or things that just groups that really aren't repeating groups, but we want to display lists and information of that nature.
Mm. Have you ever done a like I had an idea to send out like a list of notifications to a user. Have you ever sent like an email, weekly email with um, repeating group in it?
An email with a repeating group in it.
Yeah.
I don't believe I've set an email with a repeating group in it, but I have sent email notifications, of course, been able to get
Yeah.
that. Now, would you be using SendGrid, or who would you be using?
No, what's the one Tonya uses?
Oh goodness, she'd be mad at me for not knowing. She just told me to use it. Postmark, I think.
Yeah, Postmark. Yeah.
So the way that at least SendGrid works is you have dynamic variables. These dynamic variables would reference your bubble variables, your bubble dynamic variables. So in your SendGrid email, you would be able to put specific syntax that would look like this, basically. So this would be like user and so on and so forth. And inside your SendGrid plugin, you would be able to specify which variable corresponds to what data. So I know that you can get at least dynamic data, which is truly probably what you're going to be looking for. Now, it won't be a repeating group necessarily, where it will instead rather be inside your email template, perhaps 4 separate cells stacked on top of each other,
Right.
which could display dynamic data depending on whatever variables you're setting inside that template, which is a hack. It's a roundabout way to do it. And now keep in mind, this is me saying that I haven't ever done it with a repeating group, but based on my information of how typically the templates work, this is the approach that you'd want to experiment with.
Yeah. Okay. I
But
just thought instead of building out a newsletter every time I need to send it to a lot of people, that would be kind of the way to do it.
you could always have something like an admin dashboard on the back end, where, well, not even necessarily an admin dashboard on the back end. You could have a workflow that automates what data is going to be added inside that email. And then your email template could reference, instead of, well, your email template would reference whatever object or record number that would be. And it would say populate this group with this record number's image, and then its title, and so on and so forth, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
But let's see. So I'm wondering, do other people? So they're saying this is the email that you would get in Product Hunt.
Yep. It's exactly what I'm kind of after.
So it looks very much like a repeating group. Yeah. Okay.
That looks interesting.
So I'm trying to send, what is it? I'm trying to send your data from a repeating group to an email template. Okay. So dynamic data description value, amount value. Okay. So it's similar, but I think different. What he's doing is sending a list of information into one particular, object in this case, from what I'm understanding here. As we can see, these are list with then list amounts. So lists, would these be cities, or I think, or purchases, whatever they are, mixed within the amount. But maybe I am wrong, because this says each calculation details, suggesting that this is a repeating group. Okay. So it does look like he said he added the handles. So I'm going to scroll back up, look at what he had previously. And that's right. So he substituted the dynamic, or at least put handles right here. It told Postmark that I guess would have been an array. And so to my understanding, it looks like then Postmark is aware that this is an array and it splits it one by one. In the template up here, if we scroll up where it has this custom code, this looks like liquid code, not sure, but each calculations details where it's referenced by each. So it's breaking up that array and it's splitting them one by one, taking what we're sending here in this JSON. So it looks complicated, but in the grand scheme of things, it seems pretty simple. Once you actually get it, I'm sure that would be very, very simple. Do you have a Postmark account?
No, not yet. It was just an idea that I had that I thought was worth asking about.
Yeah, you should set that up and we could go ahead and tackle that together. And
Okay.
if not, through Postmark, I still think that you could create a manual repeating group where you just, and this is based off my information with SendGrid at the very least, where the template then asks you to put variables, and that's what you would just fill that information with dynamically through a recursive workflow that parses whatever posts, I guess, and there's puts those records in your database, and then your email references those records, and that would be the way that, at least sort of hacky, the way that you could approach it. But yeah, I'm curious, if you get a Postmark account, let's hop in office hours and see what we can do with that.
Okay, sounds good. And I'll I'll let you know how that event upload goes for the image and see if that works.
Yeah, that as well. Geez, just cursed. I don't know. That's so strange how just everything, just the image not being able to be formatted, despite the fact that it's really not different. The entire process, everything that we've done, it's just the manual element seems to work.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So strange.
Well, I'm grateful for you though, coming in and jogging the brain. Definitely want to get these things settled. Anything else? Yeah, absolutely. Anything else you want to throw our way?
No, that's all I've got for today.
Rock on. Okay, cool.
Awesome.
Well, yeah, nobody else is here. Nobody else has joined. So I think we're probably going to wrap it up and head to after office hours. So just wanted to say thank you for those that have tuned in and watched and listened to Ben and I as we brainstormed and tried to think of solutions. We're going to be moving to after office hours, where if you have more private information you don't feel comfortable sharing with us, we turn off the camera, we stop recording, and you can ask us, which we invite our developer membership of Pro NoCoders to join us. But with that said, we're going to be signing off, and until next time, guys, have a good one.